perfect. Sina, can you explain a little bit about this puppet that we're seeing and what the project that you're working on?
So there's two different questions, but the project I'm working on currently is called Anomalisa. It's a feature animated film. We're working it here at Starburns Studios in Burbank, California, and I'm not sure if you guys know, but it's all been funded by Kickstarter as well, just like everybody else, and their mama. And it's going very well. We've gotten a lot of fan base and funding already, mostly because of the name behind it. The script is written by Charlie Kaufman, famous for several other films. And it's originally was a script made for theater. So it was a play. It was just back in 2005, I think. But I guess it didn't go too far, so now one of the owners of the studio here, Dino Stamatopoulos, creator of Frankenhole and Morel Orel, he was at that performance and wanted to bring it out to a wider audience and thought stop motion would be a good medium to do it. A weird and crazy story. So that's how it's happening here.
Awesome.
But yeah.
I was gonna say, and so are you gonna do a demo for us on kind of how stop motion works?
I can. That's the case. The big thing is obviously we're still in pre-production and production, and I can't really show anything that has to do with our project currently. But I can show you a character that we've worked with before. This is Dracula himself from Frankenhole, the series, and he is as you can see, a wire and foam puppet. Very interesting puppet designs. They were flat-bodied, resin heads with paper printed out on their faces. I think it was real hair, maybe not. But well, wire, as you can see, stays in position, and that's why it's desirable. Something like the cape, for example, has to have wires inside it, cloth, and wrap around as it does his performance, his acting.
That's awesome. So how are the puppets similar for your current project? Are they similar kind of wire puppets, or are they different material?
No, they are very different. The aim of this current project is to make a drama. So these puppets are going to be acting very subtle and somber emotions. So for a lot of those actions and emotions, a little more detail is required. So most of these puppets are going to be ball and socket steel armatures, skeletons, as opposed to wire, which is softer and can break easier. It does not handle as much activity on it because of friction. Friction warms up the wire, so it ends up breaking. It's supposed to just get broad.
Very cool. So for those who are just joining us, we are talking with Mariona, who is on the set of Anomalisa and is a stop motion animator who has been a longtime supporter and has written for the Globalists before. And so he is taking us inside of the studio of a project that's is written by Charlie Kaufman and is currently in pre and production. And so CNUC, we're also fielding questions too from Twitter if you want to ask CNUC questions at hashtag I'm a globalist. So CNUC, maybe you could just tell us about kind of what your role is as an animator and like what your day looks like when you go into the studio.
Role as an animator is right now actually in pre-production, testing out some puppets. The puppet department has worked very hard to make dozens of puppets, and not all materials work and take the demand that is needed on a production. So I'm testing them out, testing some replacement pieces, articulation of hands and wrists, the strength of wire, the ability to do actions that these puppets are going to call to do. But then once production gets rolling, I'll be coming in. The sets will be beautiful. Sets will be prepared and lit, and then mainly is to get to know the puppets that are there, and on to speaking with the director about the shot that needs to be done, and then just right on into animating.
Do you ever get like really frustrated with the puppet? It seems like it's it's a very time consuming process. Do you ever just like want to throw them against the wall?
Yeah, a lot, but it's. I think that's part of the knowing that it's the nature of the puppet and the craft. It only lasts, a couple frames of frustration, then you move on to the next frame.
Yeah.
And but no, that's the beauty part. You get frustrated, but the end product is completely worth it, and it can be beautiful. And making something seem alive, that's quite a feat.
And how do you collaborate with the other people that are on the film? This is a pretty big project, and so how do you like piece apart the different animations? And do you work with a specific puppet in a specific scene? And how do you collaborate with the other people on the set?
It's a funny thing. The animator comes in at the end. Most of the other departments collaborate together. The set department with the set has to collaborate with the lighting department, which things around. And then I guess I collaborate most with the puppet department, get to know the puppet and the materials it's made of. And if it fits on the set, and an animator's access to a set is very important. So that involves the set department, but also when it comes to the lighting department, you see this is a light right here, and access with lights is very important as well. This is a flag in front of our camera, and a lot of things in the way in the way of getting to the puppet. So the collaboration is mainly to get a smooth process of production going between departments. Once everything is clear in the sets and accessible, then the animator is left alone to animate the shot, which is pretty cool. It's the only department that is left alone. Yeah.
And so some people watching it, you might be kind of unfamiliar with how stop motion actually, how it works, how it all comes together. Could you kind of explain how like a simple gesture on this puppet how you might animate it?
Sure. The puppets, I drilled holes to hold the puppet in. I drilled holes into the table, and the puppet has screws on the shoes. And
oh, cool.
Bring that in, screw that in, put him inside the table, and then a nut under the table. Get him in there. Screw the nut. One for each foot, of course. Every time. So now he's pretty secure. I'll do just the 1 foot. And then if I want to take a step, for example, I'll unscrew it. And in about 12 increments, I will take a step.
Huh.
And then I'll mark where the next step is, or a pencil. And then get the puppet out of the way. Go where the mark was. Drill hole, clean it up. Sawdust. Put the tie down, it's called the tie down bit, on that new step. Bring the puppet down into the place. And now screw them in again.
So how do you are you kind of deciding as you go, or when you're animating a sequence, do you have like a series of holes already kind of pre-drilled out and then you're moving the legs around?
No, I don't I prefer not to drill the holes, pre-drill the holes, and I think most animators prefer it that way. There are few animators that mathematically map out the holes, but I think that's too restricting. So I'm gonna wait to see what the puppet's gonna do, because it's not just me; it's also the wire acting. So sometimes if I drill that hole before, and I don't want to do the work of drilling the correct hole, the whole performance will change because now it is going to act by the hole's demands. No pun intended. But as opposed to my stepping where the puppet needs to be and then marking it, drilling the hole in the correct place according to the performance thus far.
And how do you what's your technique for mimicking like natural human movement with these puppets?
My technique is I do it myself. You act out the actions yourself here on the stage, and the goal of that is to feel what your muscles and body is doing, so that now you can know exactly what to emulate with the puppet. Because I don't want to just step his leg. I want to also know what his shoulders are doing and his arms are doing, his neck is doing. So I gotta feel that myself to know.
Yeah, that's so cool. So we're kind of running short on time, so I have two more questions for you. I could talk with you for hours about this. Do you have any advice for people who are interested in becoming animators or wanting to do an animation in their their basement or something? What kind of tips do you have for someone who's just starting out as an animator?
I would say just go ahead and do it. Stop motion is about problem solving. Stop motion involves all kinds of materials, magician's wax, vacuums, tweezers. So anyway, all the kinds of materials. So it's not a one-way relationship. It's you and the puppet. So there's a conformity between you and the puppet. Okay, the puppet wants to do this, but my storyboard says to do this. So there's going to be a compromise. Meet it. And go with the flow, because the imperfections of stop motion are sometimes what people are most attracted to on the screen. And then always promote life drawing and observations, because the most important thing as an animator is to know movement. So if you know how something moves and why something is moving, you're on the right track.
That's awesome. And so the whole point of this webcast today is to encourage people audiences to give big Seattle Globalists, because all of our donations today are being stretched by the Seattle Foundation. So we're asking all the guests, what's one thing that you really love about the Globalist, and that would encourage people to give big today?
Well, one thing we all love is information, and the Globalist is good at getting out little weird bits of information that ultimately enrich your point of view on something as weird as Seattle. So anything that could help in that sense of gaining information that is not found out there in the regular mainstream, I think that's extremely important and something I value very much about Globalist and other news organizations as well.
Cool. Thanks, Sienna. When can people expect to see this movie release that you're working on?
Probably sometime in about a year or so.
So you have to wait a little bit.
Yeah, you gotta wait a little bit.
Cool. Awesome. Anything else you want to add?
Well, thank you guys and good luck. I hope people are being generous and hilarious, as well as informative.
As always, Sienna. Thank you so much.
All right. We're all very proud of all of you at the Globalist. Peace.
Thanks, Sienna. Have fun on the film. See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.